All right.
Okay. Check, check, check. It's live. Good to go. Oh, here we go. Oh, we got to get the mic live for the streamers there.
Okay.
Yeah, radio, you're good. But I just welcomed you in and told you where to watch the show. But if you're watching the show, you're already watching the show, so you know where to go to watch it. I will just tell you, if you want to get in on the chat, go over to Telegram, download the messaging app, search for Armed American Radio Conversations. So my mom, she's a lunatic. I love her to death. She just turned 86. You would never know it. As politically astute as the day is long, she's a lot of fun. And she always likes to get me funny cards. And somehow she always comes up with funny birthday cards. And last night was no exception. So I'm going to hold this card up in front of the camera. And it says, "Holy guacamole, it's your birthday." Because what was yesterday, Greg?
It was not only is it Taco Tuesday, but it was Cinco de Mayo.
Yes, Cinco de Mayo fell on a Taco Tuesday, which is kind of cool, right? So for those of you on the radio, we'll play Theater of the Mind. It's just got like a cartoon caricature of a chip in a bowl of guacamole. And it says, "Holy guacamole, it's your birthday."
All right.
And when I opened it and I saw that, everybody started to laugh. And I don't know why that was funny. Holy guacamole maybe is funny if you're 86. I don't know. Then I opened it up and it says, "Bravocado on another excellent year of you." So...
Oh man, the riders of cards.
And the little chip down at the bottom, right? You know, Bravocado. Because when I read that, that's how it came out. That's what it sounds like. Bravocado. The only thing missing is dude. Bravocado on another excellent year of you. She said, "I saw that. I had to get it." I thought she was going to pass out. She was laughing so hard, and I really couldn't figure out what was funny about it until she started laughing. My kids started laughing. My dad started laughing. My wife started laughing. I think the dog and the cat were laughing. But Bravocado, another excellent year of you. Okay, that was my card from my mom. I guess maybe you had to be there, Greg?
Yeah, sure. Another lap around the sun. Here we are.
Another lap. Yeah. Well, my neighbor's going to bring me something fun today. I'm going to have to guess what it is. He said, "What kind of bourbon do you want?" So I'm guessing he's going to bring me some bourbon or something like that.
There you go.
Anyway, well, there's that.
Always nice to add to the cabinet.
Yeah. Yeah. I did have a couple margaritas last night, which I haven't had long. Just very refreshing. Goes well on a Cinco de Mayo, you know.
Frozen or over ice?
I have over ice. Yeah. So if I ever have one when I'm out, I don't do the frozen thing, and I don't generally get the salt either. I just get it straight up. But I do the, what do they call them? The premium ones.
All right.
Where they throw all the
extra
top shelf, and the fresh fruit and everything in it.
So what you got to do to avoid the ice is just ask for tahine.
I don't know what that is.
Tahine is it's a seasoned salt. It's not actually salt. It's spelled Tajin, and it typically any Mexican restaurant knows about it.
Okay. All right. I've never heard of it, but I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do frozen ones? I don't like frozen ones. They give me ice cream headaches. You do?
I do, and typically the ones at my local restaurant, they usually there's a place locally that does a perfect margarita, and they've won a couple of state contests, and I think there's usually like an extra shot or two thrown on top of the frozen. So
I mean, aren't they kind of all the same? It's the same ingredients, right?
No, I don't
How
think
can
so.
one be better than the other? I don't know. They
I
all
think
taste good.
they vary it.
Well, here's what you do, guys. If you're ever worried about it, you just have 2 or 3, and then they all taste the same.
At that point, yes.
At that point, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you have a ride. There's always
Uber
or Lyft for that kind of stuff, or your wife.
Yeah.
If your kids are under 21 but over 16, that always worked. Now my kids are over 21, but
in Texas you can get them to go too. So.
And in Texas, you can also protect property with deadly force. So let's talk a little bit about what before we go into the gun control and anything that AWR covered. Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen the video of the woman chasing the car, or in the car chasing the kid on the motorbike in Spokane, Washington, driving over yards? Did you see this video, Greg?
I did. It's
what in the world?
Yeah, I don't know what this lady was thinking, but holy cow!
I guess she was in her 50s. The word Karen comes to mind, but Karen. Those are felonies. So if you see the whole video, let me paint the picture for you. If you haven't seen the video, if you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you haven't seen the whole video. I think many of the news organizations, whatever you want to call them, are running just the part where she comes up on the curb and starts chasing this 10-year-old kid on a motorbike with his helmet on, riding around his neighborhood street. and he's on the sidewalk. And the car does a U-ey, hops the curb, and goes up into the lawns and guns it and starts chasing this kid. Now, to me, that's an instant attempted murder charge. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's a deadly weapon at that point, so you're not wrong.
All right. Well, she doesn't hit him with the car. He skates away from her, meaning he gets away from her. Apparently, and I didn't see this part on video, but what happened is he made it to his home. I guess he ditched the bike and ran in the house. But she was having none of it, Karen. Karen was having none of it. Felonious Karen, we'll call her. Karen Felony. That's what we'll call her. Karen Felony. We'll make her last name Felon for today's show. She was having none of that. So I guess she drove into his yard. She's already in yard. She did go back out in the street, but then she tries to break in his house to catch him.
Oh.
So I think she's copped a burglary charge as well. Now, let's just get the story out of the way first, and then let's talk about it, because it's kind of mind-boggling that there are people out there like this, but they're everywhere. That's why you got to keep your head on a swivel, folks. Apparently, if you're a 10-year-old kid riding a dirt bike in a neighborhood, your own neighborhood in Spokane, Washington. Well, I mean, as crazy as this is, it's Spokane, Washington. She gets charged with crimes, and then no bond, and they just let her go. They let her go.
No bail, huh?
No bail. Nothing.
Oosh.
No bond, no nothing. Just, okay. You're charged with multiple crimes. You used your automobile
Dangerous.
as a weapon
Dangerous crimes
to
at that.
chase a 10-year-old boy on a motorbike. Go ahead. We trust you'll come back. Now, what would have happened if that was Texas?
Well, she would have been taken off the front lawn in a whole different manner.
Yeah, in a bag.
Yeah.
Look, that's where I wanted to go with this, because I just picture myself here, okay?
Old felonious Karen.
If you are attempting to chase a child, anybody, but in this case a 10-year-old child, clearly a child, and you're driving over lawns, going up on the sidewalk and driving over lawns in your attempt to do so, you could easily, at least where I'm at, and I know where you're at, and I know in Florida's got the thump law. You're blocking traffic because you're one of those goofballs that glues your hands, and you can get run over. Mm-hmm. In Florida, they call it the thump law. Why thump? Because, well, most vehicles have two axles. Bump, 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 right? Thump.
That's the
You're
sound you
toast.
make.
Well, you could absolutely, that's a self-defense. That's absolutely, because not only do you have a right to protect yourself, you also have the right to intervene with deadly force if someone else's life is in imminent danger. Now, we're getting ready to take a break. I'll tell you what likely would have happened if that were going on in my lawn or someone else's lawn and I happened to be there and I was armed. I'll tell you, I think you can imagine what would have happened, ladies and gentlemen. And Spokane, Washington, it could have too. While it's Washington, and a lot of goofball socialists and a lot of liberals in Washington state that apparently just want to let you go with no bond, my gosh. When we come back from the break, we'll talk about it a little bit more. It's quite fascinating, the different scenarios that might have unfolded in maybe different areas of the country. I don't know. I believe that that's a case of self-defense pretty much anywhere in the country. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Please visit all of our great partners. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. That also includes budsgunshop.com, budsgunshop.com. I had anticipated having Phil Van Cleve on from Virginia Citizens Defense League to give us some updates. Spanberger's in some trouble in Virginia, Greg. We're going to talk about that with Phil tomorrow. So it really making some great headway there, believe it or not, in the face of that onslaught of the anti-gun activity there in the state. You were going to say?
I was just saying quickly. It's just so fast since she was sworn in, and then she starts signing all this legislation, and then days after she does that, courts are striking it down, and it looks like there's more happening.
Well, there's some more court activity across the country. We're going to go there in just a few minutes when we wrap up this Spokane, Washington deal. But suffice to say, ladies and gentlemen, armedamericanradio.com is where you can find all of our great partners. Please support every single one of them. It's why we're here. We couldn't do it without them. And they're all great. And we have some more information coming up on some of those partners in the next few days and weeks ahead. Greg, let's go back to Spokane, because I can tell you now that to me, I'm not a lawyer, but if you're chasing my kid with an automobile through a yard, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be justified in doing so to save my child's life. There's absolutely no question about that. And I feel pretty certain that any prosecutor that would look at that would agree that that was clearly self-defense, because the child's life was absolutely in imminent danger. You got a 3,000-pound automobile with Karen Feloni driving the thing.
Yeah.
You know, obviously chasing him, who swings a U-ey, hops a curb to go across the lawns to get after him in her automobile. That's clearly a case of self-defense. Now, that did not happen in Washington, and this incident unfolded very quickly. I noticed there were some other cars on the street. It looks like one was attempting to kind of try to block her at one point. It didn't work, and there were other people chasing down the street, it looked like. But, you know, there's a lot of people with firearms in Washington State. We know it's a liberal, you know, little bastion out there in the cities. But the rest of that state is very conservative. It's bright red outside the cities. And, you know, dare I say, it wouldn't matter if you were in the city or not. Self-defense is self-defense. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
It doesn't make any difference. Now, again, that did not happen, but I cannot imagine someone using a firearm to stop Karen Feloni in her attempt to run this kid down. That is clearly he is a threat of imminent death and bodily harm, which, as far as I know, in all 50 states means self-defense deadly force is legit. But in a place where they let her go with no bond, I don't know what a prosecutor would think. If they just let you out? I cannot imagine that happening in my neck of the woods, Greg. Can you imagine that happening in and around the Dallas area?
Yeah, absolutely, I could. But I could also see the end result.
Maybe
as
in
what we've
Dallas
already
proper,
described.
right? Maybe in Dallas proper, maybe in Austin or in the cities, but anywhere else? Good heavens. I don't know.
Anywhere else outside of the major markets here in this state, it's not even making the news.
Yeah, you're probably
I'm
right. AWR'd find out about it, because what's his old saying? If you're going to be dumb,
Yeah.
don't be dumb in Texas.
Look, if you're going to be dumb, don't be dumb in Texas. It's a bad state to be dumb in.
That right there, Karen Feloni, no. Can't wait to see how this thing pans out, to be honest with you, with the charges. You know, I'll find the charges during the break. I've lost the story kind of going off memory. I've seen the video so many times. Anyway, crazy stuff, and even in the comments, I noticed over on YouTube, somebody was commenting about, you know, not shocking in Washington State. I think it was Conservative Talker that said that, so appreciate the comments there, guy. All right, I'm not going to Google gun control yet. We're going to do that in a second. I want to cover a couple stories from AWR Hawkins that I think will no doubt tie into it. I have not Googled gun control yet, ladies and gentlemen, but I have a sense that we're going to see something here as a follow-up. His number one story today, that at least is that I'm seeing right now, and I just pulled this up moments before the show. Trump DOJ sues Colorado over ban of standard capacity magazines. What just happened in Virginia?
Same thing. They just passed that.
Same thing. Also, looks like 30 minutes before that story went live, there's a picture of our friend Todd Blanche. Trump DOJ sues Denver. AR-15 ban directly violates right to bear arms. So the DOJ has got its sights set in Colorado at this point. Now, we saw the threat from Harmeet Dillon regarding Virginia, I anticipate when I see headlines like this without reading the stories yet, we'll do it all live with you now and see if we can't get a little breakdown as we skim through it live on the radio for you. But it kind of affirms for me that Harmeet Dillon is going to live up to her word on that letter that she threw at Spanberger saying the DOJ is going to come after you if you sign these bills. I mean, she made that very clear. Did she not?
She did. I hope being very clear means handcuffs.
Trump DOJ is Todd Blanche, Harmeet Dillon, and now Robert Cicada at ATF.
And there is a provision in the NDAA for rogue governors, so there's an opportunity here to take into custody some of these scumbags that are running states, Tim Walz, and prosecute them as they should be.
Well, let's go to Minnesota now. As I scroll down, glad you brought him up, and he is a scumbag, a Spanberger as well. These are just evil people, ladies and gentlemen. And let's not forget the AR-15 ban in Denver. By the way, what did Spanberger just do? Okay. The same thing is happening in Virginia. So all of this ties together. And yet again, if you want to even tie it together and really pull the knot tight, SCOTUS is going to wind up taking one of these cases. And again, just more impetus for SCOTUS because they're not just looking at one individual state. They're looking at the constitutionality of all of this in toto. So expect to see Supreme Court take one of these cases relatively soon. The headline at 7:56 a.m. yesterday on May 5th, Minnesota Senate Democrats passed semi-automatic rifle and magazine ban.
It's just for show at this point.
Well, we're going to go there. National Association for Gun Rights headline. Minnesota Dems pushing gun ban via omnibus bill. So they're trying to get sneaky here. All right? In an all-encompassing bill. Let's go to Connecticut here because I did see something about Connecticut. Where is Connecticut? AWR did not write that. That came in on an
banning
alert.
the Glock style pistols in the
let's
state.
do this. Hold on. All right, we're going to type gun control in here right now. Oh,
Bill was introduced at 3:30 a.m. over in Connecticut Senate.
So Connecticut legislature, after debating, this came up 7 hours ago. Senate approves bill banning Glock-style pistols in state after debating overnight. Ladies and gentlemen, none of this is going to survive. None of it. Now,
30.
if this were a Biden administration, we would be looking at a much longer and much more protracted court battle. We would not have a DOJ involved at all. We'd have a DOJ that was cheering this activity on. And I go back to AWR's headlines right here as we tie this together. Trump DOJ sues Colorado over ban of standard capacity magazines. That's because there's no such thing as high capacity, ladies and gentlemen, but you already know that as an Armed American Radio listener. If you're new to the show, we refer to them as standard capacity magazines because that's what they are. They've hijacked the language. Trump DOJ sues Denver. AR-15 ban directly violates right to bear arms. None of this is going to fly, ladies and gentlemen. We have, we'll take it a break. When we come back from the break, we'll continue the conversation. You've got Greg and Mark here in the CZ studios. We'll be right back with you. Indeed. Welcome back. Hours flying right by, guys. Make sure to buckle in, okay? It's moving right along today. Not unusual for Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. It generally does that. Guys, make sure to visit all of our great partners, please. Blackoutcoffee.com. Greg asked me how many pots. Let's go pots. Let's just throw it out there.
How many pots of blackout do you have today to start your day?
We are on our second one.
All right.
Today. So my wife left work a little bit early. She had an appointment and came back, and the second pot was fired up. And my son, I said, make sure you empty the dishwasher before your mom comes home. I don't want her to have to come home and take care of that. He goes, okay, I'll do that. And then I ran out to Costco to get some gas. And as I was coming back, he says, I'm just going to the gym. I'll get it done when I get back. And, of course, who do you think cleaned the kitchen? I did. Because he didn't. So he skated. Funny how they figure that out, man.
Yeah.
You know, they're kids. He's 21. He's not that much of a kid. I keep reminding him, you're living here free. So, anyway, there's that. So, all you women out there, chivalry's not dead. I cleaned the kitchen. I took care of that today. Greg, the Spokane, there's some comments in here. Let me read a couple of these real quick. I got my commenter screwed up before. It was Brandon Waiter. Said, yep, sounds about right for the Seattle of Eastern Washington, letting her go with no bond. Just, okay, you can come in. I know you tried to kill him and run the kid over. Yeah, you're free to go. What in the world? Whatever. I don't get it. There are some things you can't wrap your head around, and that's one of them. Just can't wrap your head around that. And the conservative talk says self-defense should be legal no matter where you're at. Nothing says pro-life like defending your life or your loved ones. Very true. Rudy, 2010, happy birthday. Conservative talk, happy birthday. Thanks, guys, for the birthday wishes. Appreciate it. Continuing the conversation, when we left the previous segment, I told you, and I made it clear, and I'm serious about this. None of this is going to survive, Greg, in the long run.
No.
The amount of waste of taxpayer dollars here from these liberal states, they should sue over this as well, frankly, because they know what they're doing. And they're wasting taxpayer funds anyway. No accountability. This is what happens when you give tyrants power. It's homeowners association presidents, members and board on steroids. Give me your money. I'm going to do what I want with it. It's my money. It is truly no accountability whatsoever for these people for doing this. And at some point in time, taxpayers are going to get fed up and say, you know what, I'm not going to pay my taxes, or I'm going to come get my money. Something's going to break at some point in time. But, Greg, how long have we been putting up with this and saying these things? And they keep
long
doing
enough.
it. They keep doing it. They keep doing it. They keep doing it. They just keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
So much so it's not even a surprise anymore, and we almost always know the outcome. It's just we're waiting for the outcome now.
Yeah, it's like any congressional hearing. Hearings are a dog and pony show, and nothing ever gets done. We're going to investigate it. Nothing ever gets done. Are you sick of investigations? Endless investigations? Nothing gets done. Nobody's held accountable. Well, Trump DOJ is stepping up to the plate here. And this is a beautiful thing to see, because this puts on notice every Democrat who is going to continue this nonsense. But here's the problem. They don't care about the threat. Their hatred for Trump runs so deep that they wear it as a badge of honor. I go back to Spanberger. I made the comment after she got that letter from Harmeet Dillon, and I believe I'm right in this, simply because the chain of events that occurred afterwards. My initial thought was, oh, she's going to sign the bill now and not let it go. She's going to sign that bill now that she's got that letter, just to spite the administration. She did not. She sent it back for changes and amendments that were even worse than the original bill, in the face of getting that letter from the DOJ. She knew the bill in its current form is invoking a lawsuit from DOJ and civil rights, so I'm just going to make it worse. That's an in-your-face, Greg. I don't know of any other way to describe that. Am I right?
Yeah, we'll put the Bruin ruling to a test is essentially what she's doing, and they're doing it at, what would you say, 10 states easily?
They're going to lose. But yeah, any Democrat state is going to continue to do this nonsense. And then you've got Connecticut now attempting to. Senate approves a bill banning. Let's go here because we're Googling gun control, so let's click on this. Guys, we didn't do this in advance, so we're actually doing this in real time for you. Senate approves bill. This is from NBC CT, Connecticut. Senate approves bill banning Glock-style pistols in state after debating overnight. And this is today, and this came out at 5 hours ago. So that would make it at about, what, 12:30, somewhere around there, Eastern time anyway. The Senate has approved a gun bill introduced around 3:30 a.m. on Wednesday. 3:30 a.m. on Wednesday. Cover of darkness, man.
Yeah.
You remember when Cuomo and the Democrats in New York did their SAVE Act after Newtown? Middle of the night stuff.
Yep.
Middle of the night stuff. While you're asleep, we're just going to shove it right down your throats. Lawmakers debated the bill throughout the morning, which was introduced by Governor Ned Lamont, of course. Although automatic weapons are already illegal in Connecticut. Automatic weapons are already illegal in Connecticut. Greg, correct me here. Is a Glock an automatic weapon?
It is not. It's semi-automatic.
Correct.
But here's the problem is they hear automatic in the phrasing semi-automatic, and they just consider it as an automatic weapon because it falls in the category because it's labeled that way.
Well, yeah, and what they're doing is, and I'll quote here from NBC Connecticut, Democrats say the bill aims to close a loophole they say allows people to easily convert handguns into machine guns using a Glock switch. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, that is already a federal felony. That is against federal law. You can convert anything if you want to and have the necessary tools and know-how and wherewithal and money to do so. You could make your car that is street legal today not street legal tomorrow if you want to spend the money, and then drive it around on the street, even though it's not legal. You can do these things. Now, take a listen to what Senator Gary Winfield, Democrat, I like to do this in real time. He's a Democrat from New Haven. This is not to take away people's guns. What does it do? It takes away your guns. How stupid do you think we are?
Incredibly.
They
think we're incredibly stupid.
Man. This is not to take away people's guns. Let's see what else he says. I've not read this. It's because of the reality that we are facing with Glock switches on the streets of Connecticut, which are already illegal under federal law. Which, by the way, I believe Robert Cicada is going to have something to say about that. Because that's the kind of stuff he's looking to go after. The bill, and here's, oh, God, you got to love this stuff in real time. Just your real reactions. The bill dubbed the Convertible Pistols Bill. The CPB. Now heads to Lamont's desk and would require companies to prevent these alterations.
Why not just
it's already regulated by federal law.
Yeah, and you can't keep drugs out of a prison. So why are we continuing to make these things illegal when we can have the market share and regulate them through industry?
All right, I guess I can say this, Greg. If I can't, you can dump it. Internet, you're going to get it. They keister cell phones.
Correct.
Cell phones. They're in every prison in America. Guess what? They're illegal in prisons.
And they still get them in there.
Look that one up. I'm not going to tell you. I think you can figure it out. Would require companies to prevent these alterations. The companies have already prevented the alterations because they don't make them altered. And the alterations are illegal. And Republicans, rightfully so, again, argue the bill won't stop the bad actors and will only penalize lawful gun owners and retailers, which is 100% true. Senator Paul Ciccarelli, Republican of North Haven, he's a loner. This will not affect individuals who are already breaking the laws. It won't. We're not going to see a reduction in people that are already breaking the law with these gun switches, and we pass the bill. So now I'm not going to be using this. I'm not going to be using this, simply put. I don't know what he meant by that. That didn't make sense. Oh, I get it. He says they're already breaking the law with these gun switches, and we passed the bill, so now I'm not going to be using this. Okay, I get it. Means they're not going to follow the law, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Buckle down. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Attorneys on Retainer here. Third segment, every show. Maybe we want to mix that up sometime, Greg. Maybe we'll fix that and put it in the first one. Who knows? Just for fun, just for, blanks and grins. Here's my Attorneys on Retainer card, ladies and gentlemen. I'm holding it up and tapping it on the microphone here. It's about the size of a credit card, a little bit thinner. It's bendable right here, but it's plastic. And, guys, it's the equivalent of having 4 attorneys in my hand, right here in my fingertips. AttorneysOnRetainer.us, AttorneysOnRetainer.us/AAR. If you are still on the fence, do yourself a favor and get off that fence. Just do this. We're going to save you $25 off the sign-up fee. And for $37 a month, you've got a team of attorneys, over 100 lawyers that are going to be looking at any case if, God forbid, you have to use a firearm and find yourself, well, with an overzealous prosecutor that is willing to give attempted murderers by vehicle no bond and then come after you for stopping the attempted murderer. Crazy as it seems, it happens all the time. Attorneys on Retainer is your answer. On the back of the card, it's got everything spelled out for you that you need to do instantly, in order, one at a time. And it's all great advice because they're lawyers telling you what to do, and they'll be on scene with you during an investigation before it's even cleaned up. AttorneysOnRetainer.us. Make sure to check out all of our great partners, AttorneysOnRetainer.us/AAR. Join the National Rifle Association, Arizona Citizens Defense League, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a rep on here real soon in the next few days. And I got to tell you, when you see what's happening in Virginia, and you know, and it's as crazy it is to say this, almost as crazy as saying that the ATF is our friend, literally overnight. It's crazy to say that Arizona is teetering on the brink, much like Virginia. We're trying to stop this in advance. There's power in numbers. Join azcdl.org today. All we need is your number. As a member, you do not need to live in Arizona. But we are all Arizonans. It's that simple. Just like we're all Virginians right now. We're all in this together. This is how we fight for our rights. Phil Van Cleve from VCDL will be here tomorrow on the program for the solid hour, and he's going to give us some crazy updates of what's going on in the Commonwealth in Virginia. It's just nuts what's happening up there. But, guys, it happened. Now we have to stop it from happening to you, and they are fighting tooth and nail in Virginia right now. Spanberger is not highly regarded in that state, and that's exactly what we want to happen. And we need your numbers to help make that happen. It's vcdl.org. Please, please, please join us, and join your state's organizations. It's so critical. Crimeresearch.org and many others. Don't forget to do your shopping at Bud's Gun Shop. Don't forget mypillow.com. Pick up some of the towels. The slippers are always great to get. And summer's coming up, but you can wear them like shoes, guys. They are that comfortable. They really, truly are. Greg and I wear them all the time. They're the real deal. Make sure to check them out. And all of our great partners, you can find every single one of them at armedamericanradio.com. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't point out Justin McNeil. Go over there and just check out his website and get on his email list. It's that simple. Get on his email list in South Dakota, okay? So we can stop this before the midterms. In advance, we can go in knowing that we're putting people who care about our rights and our freedoms, real true patriots, fighting on our behalf across the country. Senators matter, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where they're from, okay? Justin McNeil's got it going on. It's Justin McNeil, MCNEAL.com, and help the man out. Help this man get elected. Greg, I got to go back to this. This is not to take away people's guns. Do we have the Feinstein clip?
I do.
Let's play that.
If I could have gotten 51 votes, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
Did I hear that correctly?
I believe so.
Did I hear Senator Feinstein, who was far more powerful than Gary Winfield, a Democrat from New Haven, Connecticut, at the state level, say if I could have done it, turn them all in, I would have done it? Let me go back to Gary Winfield. This is not to take away people's guns. Now, I could be very FCC friendly right now and follow the word bull with something that I'm not going to do because I understand FCC regulations. That's one of the naughty words, but you get the idea. This guy is full of it. It absolutely is to take away your guns. Who was the other one? Beto O'Rourke?
Beta O'Rourke, yes. Robert Francis.
Beta O'Rourke.
Yeah,
Robert
we can't
Francis
stand him
O'Rourke.
here in Texas.
Oh, I know.
Three-time loser.
Let's play him one more time. He made it pretty clear.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
You didn't.
He did not. Senator Gary Winfield, Democrat, New Haven. This is not to take away people's guns. You're a joke, sir. An absolute joke. And we're on to you. We're on to all of you. And we're going to continue to beat that into the ground every single day. They absolutely want to take away your guns, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this is all about. And they think you're stupid, that they can come out and make this stupid, boneheaded comment that this is not to take away your guns, when the bill does just that. Oh, well, he's going to get to semantics. Well, we're not taking it away if you already have it. We're just taking it away from people who don't.
All future sales.
All nuance. How come you don't own a Glock? They took them away. This is not to take away people's guns. Yes, it is. Good heavens. Oh.
And if it doesn't take away individual guns from people, it does take away the market, which then takes away the business aspect of it.
They know exactly what they're doing, and it is to take away your guns, ladies and gentlemen. Minnesota Senate approves the gun control package, but according to the Minnesota Reformer, it's unlikely to pass the House. We don't have enough time to get into that right now. We've only got about a minute. So we'll headline surf on some of these gun control bills. The latest Minnesota, this is from the Minnesota Star Tribune. We love covering their stories. Minnesota Senate passes sweeping gun overhaul in response to, let's click on that, in response to Annunciation shooting. So here we go. It's always a response to something. Oh, tragedy? Let's use it. But they want me to subscribe to get in there, and I'm not going to give them 1 penny to that liberal rag, nor would I do it to the AJC or any of the rest of them. Minnesota headline, in passing assault weapons ban, Minnesota Senate DFL shows unified front. I guess the Senate does, but the Minnesota Reformer is saying it's unlikely to pass the House. KUSA, City of Denver State, defy Trump DOJ demands to repeal gun laws. So they force it into court. When they refuse, ladies and gentlemen, to comply with your constitutional rights and the demand by the DOJ to adhere to the Constitution of the United States, that is an in-your-face slap. Not just to Donald Trump, but to you, regardless of where you live, because every single Democrat will support this. Every single Democrat across the country will support this. You might have a few. Hard to say every and all and never, but the vast majority will. And I guarantee you, if it were up in the United States Senate, you might get 1, maybe 2, and that would be because of midterms and somebody in a tight race where Schumer says, okay, you're
60.
clear, you can go ahead and do that. Got it? You can go ahead and vote with it because, well, we're going to pass it anyway because the rest of us are. It is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on out there. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is going to get up and do it again, folks. And for radio listeners, we're going to stay with you for just a second. Guys, we're going to cut the stream right now for copyright purposes. And we'll see you on the radio tomorrow.